Hello guys, how are you getting on? My name is Aaron Kelly here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. I have just witnessed Liverpool win their 6th Champions League title in the club's history by beating Tottenham Hotspur by 2-0 at the Wanda Metropolitano in Madrid. Not the most sparkling of finals, but it was a final that certainly meant a lot to a lot of people. It's obviously Liverpool's first title or first trophy in general since 2012 when they won the League Cup, and of course it's Jurgen Klopp's first ever trophy at the club and his first Champions League final win, having already played this being his 3rd final in management. In this video I'm going to dissect how exactly Liverpool won their 6th title and give my thoughts on the game. So without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, Mauricio Pochettino and his team have lost, and his, I suppose, search for a major trophy, or any trophy for that matter, as Spurs manager goes on. And for him, I do feel sorry for. I will say that. I think what he's done at Tottenham this season has been absolutely fantastic, and you know, the job he's done with them over the last couple of years, he's turned them from a banter club to a team who's well able to compete, and a team that has managed to get themselves to a European final, and that's more than any other Tottenham manager has ever managed to do. So for that, I take my hat off to Mauricio Pochettino. He did say there may be question marks over his future no matter what the outcome of this final. He may be thinking to himself he's taken Tottenham as far as he can take them at this point, and maybe he might be thinking, well, maybe it was a little bit of a fluke that we managed to get as far as the final this year. But you have to say their route to the final wasn't as difficult as Liverpool's, but at the same time they got out of a very difficult group, Tottenham. They obviously in a group with Barcelona, Inter Milan, PSV Eindhoven. Never an easy group to get out of, but they've also beaten Manchester City on their way here and Ajax as well, so it certainly hasn't been an easy route to the final for Tottenham. But you look at Liverpool, they've beaten the likes of Bayern Munich, they've beaten PSG and Napoli in the group stage. Barcelona, of course, on their way here as well. And to be honest, Liverpool overall, before kick-off, I would have said are the better team and deserve more, particularly on their season in general in the Premier League. Matching Man City stride for stride, and only just a few draws in the end, which cost them the Premier League crown. But let's go through today's game. To be honest, the first half was pretty dull. I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't the best, but it was a frantic start to the game. We can give it that much. When Liverpool were awarded a penalty inside the first 25 seconds, when Sadio Mane's attempted cross struck the arm of Moussa Sissoko, and Mo Salah smashed the penalty past Hugo Lloris to give Liverpool the lead after just a minute of play. Now, a lot of people are saying this penalty was debatable. I'd have to argue with that, and not because I hate Tottenham. I know a lot of people are going to say that, alright, but I promise you that's not the case. I genuinely don't think there was any other decision the referee could have chosen than give a Liverpool penalty for this one. I think Moussa Sissoko, yeah, he's pointing at someone to get back in position because of the fucking, the cross, the dangerous cross from Mane coming in. But his arm is in an unnatural position. I mean, if his arm's down here by his side, you know what I mean, like down kind of here, you'd say no, it's not a penalty. But the fact that Sissoko has his arm raised so high, and who knows, Mane may have been trying to hit his arm, seeing that he kept it up there for so long. But I think either way it's a penalty, and it would have been very harsh on Liverpool not to give it. I wouldn't say it's harsh on Tottenham. I think it's unfortunate or unlucky that Sissoko's arm was in that position and the way the ball kind of struck it. But I think it is still a penalty, and Salah stuck it away. Lloris maybe could have done better with it, but it was just pure power from Salah which sent it past the Spurs goalkeeper. But apart from that, in the first half it was pretty dull, to be honest, and it took Tottenham up until the second half, in the 70th minute to be precise, for them to get their first shot on target of the game. But second half was more so dominated by Tottenham, I would say. Dele Alli had a couple of really good chances. Son forced a couple of decent saves out of Alisson in the Liverpool goal, but the decisive moment came late on when Divock Origi once again, I cannot believe this keeps happening. Divock Origi with an outstanding finish past Hugo Lloris on his left foot, smashes it across into the far bottom corner, and I think that was with about 4 or 5 minutes left of the 90, and that was that. Liverpool picking up the title. And to be honest, it was a pretty anticlimactic final in terms of the quality, you know, down to the drama and all that we've seen in this Champions League season. But the right team won, and I don't think anybody can deny this. Liverpool are the better side, and despite not being at their best, we're still better than Tottenham on the day. I think it was a penalty for the Salah one. I don't think there's, for the Mane cross. I don't think, you know, you're going to get people that are always going to argue it, and that VAR should have come into it. But for me, I don't think that it's a no-brainer. His arm is up there, and Origi wrapped it up with an incredible goal. And finally, I think Jurgen Klopp is getting, you know, the recognition he deserves. Liverpool's style of play, you know, they've been drilled with that mentality of chase the fuck out of the opposition in the press. And we've seen that early on, even though Liverpool weren't playing at their best. Even when Tottenham had it, you know, just outside their own 18-yard box, Liverpool's front three were still pressing. But one thing I did notice at the start of the game, and quite possibly may have been an error on Mauricio Pochettino's part, he started Harry Kane, his first game back after many months out with what I think was another ankle injury that he suffered in a game for Tottenham a couple of months ago. He started him instead of Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura, who grabbed a hat-trick and pretty much single-handedly dragged Spurs into the final after they bet Ajax. But yeah, Lucas Moura I felt really bad for. He only came on with, you know, not too long left of the game. But the fact that Harry Kane played, I think, I'd love to know how much Poch's decision was influenced by Kane himself. I think Kane has a lot of power clearly in that Spurs dressing room, such a big figure, such an important player for them. I think, you know, I just don't think he should have started. Maybe bring him on when the going gets tough, but Lucas Moura needed to start the game, and I think that's where Klopp, or where Pochettino instantly went wrong in his team selection. Also, I think certainly in the first half and in the first kind of section of the second half, Liverpool's fullbacks were causing Tottenham's fullbacks a lot of problems. Obviously Alexander-Arnold and Robertson have picked up many assists between them this season, so they were always going to, you know, be a threat. They were putting in some great balls. Sometimes they were just a little bit in front of the front men, or there just wasn't people attacking it. But, you know, Spurs will have been expecting that, but they still weren't able, you know, to deal with it. My man of the match today has to go to either Virgil van Dijk or Joel Matip, because I think there was times in that second half where Liverpool were under a lot of pressure, and there was one in particular where Son was running in on goal and Van Dijk just strides back, cleans up, gets the ball away. Robertson I thought was excellent. Alisson made a few very good saves. He made a good save from an Eriksen free kick. There was another chance I think he saved from Son. So, you know, he proved his absolute worth once again in this game. But Spurs, I think, just were poor, but Liverpool were poor as well. Liverpool were just a little bit more clinical when they got their chances. But Divock Origi probably proved to be, you know, the turning point once again, because there was a point where you thought Spurs were going to get back into this. Liverpool's midfield were being overrun. Fabinho was probably the better of them, but he was probably isolated. All that kind of happened when Eriksen dropped back into a deeper position. He had more, you know, time and space to pick out them key passes into the likes of Son and Lucas. I thought Dele Alli was poor again. I mean, I don't rate him very highly. He was poor once again today. Missed two really good chances, and just apart from that was pretty anonymous for Tottenham. I think Son was definitely their best, you know, asset going forward, but Van Dijk dealt with him fairly well, and he dealt with Harry Kane very easily. I think it was clear from the first 20 minutes that Harry Kane may or may not have been up to it. He even tried to, you know, fucking try and dive a couple of times in the box to try and win himself cheap penalties and free kicks. But I think overall, lads, in the end, Liverpool deserve it. And as I mentioned, it's a fair reflection on the season that Liverpool managed to get themselves silverware. But it's a fair reflection on the, 3.5, 4 years that Jurgen Klopp's been in charge, that he's finally managed to get a trophy under his belt, and it'll all finally shut up them fucking critics who say he's a shit manager and he fucks it under pressure, because that's just not the case. And without a doubt, one of the best, if not the best manager in world football right now. And Liverpool are only going to get better. I think there's no denying this. I heard something there a few minutes ago that the Liverpool owner John Henry is going to just keep funding more and more into this Liverpool side, which is scary, considering how good they are at the minute. But they want to press on and they want to win that Premier League next season, and this will hopefully for them work as a springboard towards next season. But that is that. Club football is done for the 2018-19 season. What an incredible season it has been. There are some Nations League games. I probably won't make verdicts on that, because who cares? Like, who actually cares at this stage? But yeah, Liverpool Champions League winners, Chelsea Europa League winners, which lines up a UEFA Super Cup tie between Liverpool and Chelsea at the start of next season. So I'm looking forward to that indeed. But don't worry, this will not be the end of club football for me during the summer. I'm sure myself and Jack will have lots to discuss transfer-wise on the Shite Talk podcast, which you can subscribe to. First link in the description. That would help us out. But yeah, that is that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. And yeah, subscribe if you're new. And I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take care and peace.